Welcome to the Yessy's Designs Knitting Podcast, episode 21. I welcome you if this is the first time that you join my podcast. I hope that you enjoy the content that I prepare for you. And if you have been here before, it's so nice to have you again. I am Yessy. I am the maker and the designer behind Yessy's Designs. And today I have such a good episode for you, in my opinion, of course. You let me know later how much you enjoyed this podcast. So I have a web to show you. I have a couple finished pieces, and I have a new pattern that has just been released today. So I'm going to talk to you about it, and I cannot wait to see how much you like it. I'm gonna tell you the design inspiration behind it, the yarns that I work with, everything that I can tell you about it, I am gonna share with you here. So it's been a few busy weeks since I last saw you here. I had my last market of the year. If you are a maker, if you participate in markets, you know that it takes a lot to be ready for one. I think after having done markets for a few years, I pretty much know what pieces do well, the kind of colors that appeal to people the most. But in this last one I took, I was a little bit experimenting with a few things. I had half of my pieces that were very neutral colors, very elegant, earth tones, burgundies, reds, grays, and I had a whole collection just about colors. Everything that you can think of. Pinks with blues. I used yarns that had a lot of color in them, and I wanted to see if these are the kind of colors that maybe appeal to children most. I mean, I knew that it would be the case for children, but I also had a few pieces in these kind of colors for adults, and I just wanted to see the reaction to adults to these kind of pieces, and it was equally beautiful. So I was very happy to know that these colorful pieces were so loved by the neighbors. This is a market that I do in Whiting Mills in Winsted, Connecticut. If you have been here before, you might have seen me talking about it. Maybe I have shown some footage about it, but this is one of my favorite markets to go to. This is my second year going to this place, to Whiting Mills, my third market there, and I absolutely love it. The people that goes there, they are so nice. They love the building. The building in itself is just amazing. It's a building that is just dedicated to the arts. It used to be a factory for socks for men back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And this is a very industrial looking building. They keep up with it so nicely, and it's just amazing to be there. The ladies that run this building, they are a pleasure to work with. They are always looking to see if you need something, what is your, maybe your expectation, what happened, if you have any feedback, good or bad. They are always on top of everything. They go around and they ask, do you need something? Do you want coffee? Do you want some breakfast? Do you want some lunch? The whole atmosphere of the building and the ladies that run it, it's absolutely beautiful. It would be a dream to have a studio in this building. So they have the open studios where they have permanent artists. You have everything, sewers, illustrators, painters, and jewelers, people that make baskets. Is just amazing. So this building is open, I think, every day for the permanent artists. And every now and then they do events where they ask guest vendors to be part of. And I hope that they call me again, because it's really, really one of my favorite markets to go to. So that was this last weekend, and I had a blast. It was amazing. And now everything is gonna be a little bit quiet for a few weeks. I'm still gonna be busy because I have my pieces at 2 local shops and Company on Bank in downtown New Milford, and shops at New Hartford in New Hartford, Connecticut. So I have to make pieces for these 2 shops, and it's always nice when they say, you have to bring more. People is getting them and things like that. So this afternoon, I'm going to be going to an company on bank and bring a few new pieces over there. Okay, so I'm going to start showing you two WIPs. Let's start with WIPs. So my first WIP that I'm going to show you, it's in the very first, in the first few stages. I am making here a Sierra Nevada beanie. So I just started my second one, like this one that I'm making. I'm using this beautiful yarn from Hobbii. It's called Coriandoli. It has beautiful, beautiful colors. The speckles are so nice in this neutral base. This is one of their new yarns. I got a few balls of it and I decided to make Sierra Nevada beanies, but I'm going to show you something that I changed. So I'm going to show you this WIP. Nothing too much to see really, but I'm going to show you how this is going to look. It's going to look like this. So this is my Sierra Nevada beanie that uses bulky weight yarn. You can find this pattern on my Etsy, Ravelry, on my website, and I love working on this beanie. It doesn't need, these are like what you would say maybe 4 cables. Let me see if you can see in here. Okay. You don't need a cable to work on this texture. He's super engaging, so nice to work on this beanie. Very easy to memorize. And so the pattern suggests, a way to do it. But for this yarn, I wanted to add a double brim. So that's why you see here is a double brim, which means that you do the rib, you start working on the brim and then you use a technique to sew it to the beanie, and then you work on the body. So what this is gonna do is that it's going to add more warmth to your beanie, and there it goes. So I love working on these beanies so much. Again, beautiful, beautiful colors. This might be one of the last colorful beanies that I'm gonna be making for the collections that I am sharing in the 2 shops that I work at. Oh, these pom-poms always get me. I have a few, not that many left, and I have to see what other yarns I have full of colors. I have quite a few in my stash, and see what pom-poms would go well with them. I really, really, truly love all of these colorful pieces. So this afternoon, I'm going to take my daughter, which obviously she requested one of these beanies. I'm going to take her for pictures so I can share these on my Instagram, to share this with the local shop that it's going to be holding them, which is a company on bank. So we're going to have a little photo session with this beanie and another one that she also claimed for herself. So I have a few more to make of this, and one of them is going to be for my cutie. So this is the first finished piece that I'm going to share with you today, and one WIP. I think I didn't do this in order. Let me go to the next finished piece. This is I think you can tell that I am loving all of these colors. Look at this. This is a yarn from Chelsea Yarns that I purchased last year at Cake Palooza. I had the tag over here. So Summer Camp, Fun in the Sun with hand-dyed yarn. This is Marshmallow DK 4-ply 100% superwash merino, and it is just beautiful from Summer Camp Fibers. Okay, look at this. Okay, here we go. So the Magnolia beanie, it's a pattern that I just have with Darn Good Yarn. Talking about the beanies with Darn Good Yarn, they reached out to me years ago when I first designed it, and I made a modification on this pattern to fit the yarn that they gave me back then. I keep making this Magdalena beanie with the original pattern for DK weight yarn or worsted weight yarn. And I love it. It's one of the most favorite patterns in my market. So I love to make it. I mean, you cannot blame me with all of this squish and that is happening in this beanie and in this color. I mean, obviously my daughter wanted to keep some for her. And the yarn, when I got it at Cakepalooza, was a kit. So you had the skein of yarn and you had the pom-pom. Look at this. It's so beautiful. I mean, I'm just going to leave it here for you when the camera decides to adjust. Look at this. It's so lovely. It is so fun. So I'm going to take some pictures of her with it. And I cannot wait to see her wearing it when it snows. I cannot wait to see the contrast. I took pictures and I share a reel in my stories when I took a video and a picture of this yarn in the snow. I cannot wait to see all of these colors against the snow. So I don't know when the next snowstorm is happening, at least not in the next week, but we cannot wait to have more snow over here. So that is my last finished piece before I show you the new pattern that it's been released today. So I'm going to go to my last WIP. As you can tell, I have a lot of colorful pieces on my needles right now. So this is a yarn by Spud and Chloe from Blue Sky Fibers. This yarn has been discontinued, and again, if you have been here before, either in the podcast or if you have been following me on Instagram, you just might recognize this piece that I'm going to show you. So again, if you have followed the podcast or my posts about going to Rhinebeck, you know that I made the Rhinebeck sweater for my daughter. I make one for myself, and this is her Rhinebeck sweater from last year. It's still a WIP. So last year, let me show you the bottom part. This is a pattern by Anna Johanna. It's called Everything's Coming Up Roses from her book Strands of Joy. So this is the book by Anna Johanna. Amazing patterns in here. Beautiful, beautiful sweaters. And I decided to make, well, my daughter, she chose it too. So I was going to make me this sweater, but at the end I made another one for myself, and she chose this one in the Barbie colors. So the pink, the hot pink one is obviously like Barbie pink. I forgot what yarn is this. I forgot to check my notes. And the blue main color is from Blue Sky Fibers. So when we went to Rhinebeck last year, you can tell that I didn't finish working on this sweater. So the only thing that was left was the sleeves. And she wore it anyway because it was raining that day, so she had to wear a coat over it. And it didn't matter if the sleeves were ready or not. She wore it and nobody noticed. If we had a Rhinebeck day like the one from this year, probably I wouldn't have given it to her to wear because it was the most beautiful day and we could wear our sweaters without any jackets or any coats. So this sweater still fits her. It was a little bit oversized last year, and I tried to make the sweaters for her a little bit oversized because my kids, they grow so fast and they grow so much. So I was a little bit worried that maybe this sweater wasn't going to fit her for this year, but it absolutely does. And I think it's still going to fit her for quite some time. So I am making the sleeves. It's probably going to be 3/4 sleeves because this yarn sadly has been discontinued. So here's the sleeve I am working on. I have to keep checking. I am measuring. I have a little ball from a partial skein, and I have this one. So I am weighing the yarn, making sure that the two sleeves are gonna be the same length. So she cannot wait to have this ready. I am working on it and I cannot wait to see her wearing this. So that's what I have been working on in the last few weeks. But let me check my notes and let me make sure that I shared everything that I wanted to share before I share the pattern. Okay, I think this is it. Okay. It's exciting. I haven't released a pattern in a few months. And you might know that I am working with Blue Sky Fibers in their Makers program. And I asked for some yarn to design a new piece. They sent me their Woolfolk worsted. And I chose these colors that I'm going to show you right now. First, I'm going to start with the yarn, and then I am going to talk more about it. So this color from Woolstock Worsted is Gravel Road. The second one, it's called Dark Chocolate. And this one is called Loon Lake. So I asked for these three colors in Woolstock in Woolstock Worsted. This is a mouthful, so excuse me for that. And look at these colors together. So I wanted to design a piece that would be practical, that would be cozy. And the design inspiration was the textures that I see around me. So if you have been maybe reading or listening to me talking about the inspiration behind my pieces, a lot of them, they are inspired by back home. Now this one, it's inspired by my surroundings in this home, in my home here in Connecticut. So we are in a forest, we are in the country, we are surrounded by farms, lakes, waterfalls, you name it, everything. And there is so much to see. Every time we leave our house, there is so much beauty to see around us. So I wanted to design a scarf that had textures, like so much texture, something that would be engaging for you to work with, something that when you see it, you see all of these textures together, and it's just a delight to the eyes. So this scarf that I am gonna show you, it's called the Bayberry Scarf, and it's an oversized scarf that I hope that you love working on. I love working and wearing oversized pieces. So if you see my scarves, a lot of them, they are oversized. I love them. I absolutely love them. If you don't, that's okay, because the only modification that you would have to make is to make it shorter instead of maybe the suggested measurements for your scarf. But for the last few weeks, quite a few weeks, I have been working on it. And very quickly, when I was looking at different textures for cables and lace, I just put everything together in a swatch, and it's like, this is it. This is what I want to be working on. And when you're working on a piece that is long, you really want to make sure that you love it, because I am not the kind of person that is going to be making something if I am not really in love with it. So when I was working on these different textures, when I was looking at my scarf growing, growing and growing and growing. I never, in my experience, felt like, oh, this is taking so long. Just the richness of the textures, that's the thing that got me. And I hope that it gets you too. I hope that when you work on it, that you really, really, really love it. Now, working with blue sky fibers, it's an absolute delight. This yarn is amazingly beautiful. It's so rich in colors. The quality of the yarn is just amazing. So if you haven't had the opportunity to work with this yarn, I would recommend, take a look at it. Go to your local yarn store and just look at it if they have it. If they don't have it, and on Blue Sky Fibers, they don't have a shop. They work with local yarns. You might ask the owner of your local yarn store to maybe get some of the Blue Sky Fibers yarn. You can also go to the website and look at the yarns that they have there. And I'm going to share in a few minutes footage from my local yarn shop. They carry Blue Sky Fibers. They also have the yarn for sale on their website, so you can also go there and take a look at that. But we'll get to that in a moment. This yarn is beautiful. I have been working with it more than the 2 years that I have been with Blue Sky Fibers. This has been one of my favorite yarns, almost from the very beginning when I started knitting, when I started to learn more about the quality of the yarns, what yarn is good for what. And just to read the story about Blue Sky Fibers, which you can read on their website, it's really nice. So, are you ready? Let me show you. So, one of the things that it's gonna keep your work engaging when you work on this scarf is the change of colors. I knew I wanted 3. Don't ask me why. I wanted 3 colors because I wear a lot of pieces like these. I wear obviously my hand knits. Some of them are neutral, some of them are full of color, but my regular clothes, meaning the one that I don't make, it's a lot like these colors: beiges, grays, blacks, a lot of neutrals. My accessories, I have seen that are the things that I use that are more colorful, but a lot of my clothes, some of my clothes, they have a lot of color, but the majority of my clothes doesn't. So I wanted to wear something that, I wanted to make something that I could wear with mostly everything that I own. So I chose these 3 colors that I showed you. So the scarf starts with this seed stitch. So that's gonna be your border of your scarf. And then you're gonna be working on the body. So the body has the seed stitch as the border. It has cables. Let me see if the camera adjusts. Let me see. Okay, it has cables, it has slip stitches, it has this lace pattern, which is a fur cone that you have throughout the scarf, and then you have your slip stitch, cables, and your seed stitch. It's so rich in colors. So as I talk, I'm sure you have seen some footage of me working on this scarf. I'm gonna include at some point pictures of the look of it. So I took pictures of how the scarf looks before you block it. Now, my mom was here visiting when I was working on this scarf, and she fell in love of the scarf without being blocked. She never saw it being blocked because she left before I got to that part. She was here for 5 weeks. I was working on the scarf for all that time on and off because, you know, when you have visitors, when you have guests, when you have your mom with you, you want to enjoy them as much as you can. So I worked on and off on the scarf for the 5 weeks. It was my priority in those days. So she saw the scarf pre-blocked and she loved it. And I loved it too. But after it was blocked and you see all the stitches relaxing, the cables opening, the lace design opening, it was just amazing. I am so in love with this pattern. So this is how it looks. And then you work on the second color. I chose the dark chocolate as the second color. And then you have the blue lagoon to finish it. I'm gonna share pictures with you of how it looks on, but I know that I'm gonna be wearing this piece so much. So during this time, which is already cold, you can tell that is pretty long. During this time that is so cold, I would wear it under my coat, obviously. But when we are inside a place, I can just take my coat off. I have usually a cardigan with a blouse. I can keep it on. It's super lightweight. So even though this scarf is oversized, it's very long, this is my preference again. My preference are oversized scarves. So you can wrap this one, the suggested measurement in the pattern, you can wrap it twice, but it looks in here like a cowl. It's very relaxed in here. It's not choking you. You can decide to make it shorter again if you want. But I love it like this, and the yarn is so lightweight. It's not heavy at all. Even though it's this long, it does not feel heavy at all. So if you want to see more pictures, you can head over to my website, to my Etsy, to my Ravelry. You can learn more about the measurements, the amount of yarn that is used. Obviously, you're going to have there the colors that I use for this sample. But now I am going to leave you with a segment. I'm not going to be talking in this segment. I'm going to show you the yarn selection that my local yarn store, Stars Hollow Yarns, has of blue sky fibers, and I'm going to show you some color options. I'm going to show you color options if you decide to work on 3 colors for your scarf. So I wanted one color to be here, another one to be here, and another one to be around my neck. I'm going to show you the 3 colors for different combinations. And you might be inspired when you choose the colors that you will be working with. If you decide to make it in one color, I'm sure it's going to look beautiful. If you decide just 2 colors, it's going to be beautiful as well. I was thinking also of the 2 colors when you wrap the scarf around you, half color would be on one side and the other color on this side. That would be a beautiful look as well. And if it was one color, I think I would have gone with a lighter one. And so I'm able to match it more with different outfits, something that would look more airy and maybe more like a winter-like piece. So I'm going to leave you with that segment. Enjoy it, and I see you when the segment is done. So what do you think? I hope you enjoyed looking at all of these colors. Again, if your local yarn store does not have blue sky fibers, you might consider going to the website of Stars Hollow Yarns and you can order your yarn from there. They are amazing. They ship very quickly. They put attention to detail. I'm sure you're going to get a beautiful package. So go enjoy it. Go see what colors you would like to work for your own Bayberry Scarf. For a second, I forgot the name, the Bayberry Scarf. So also, if you want to have a little bit more details, more pictures about the yarn and the inspiration behind this piece, I have a blog already on my website where I share things more in depth. Again, I thank you so much for being here, for listening to me. When I talk a lot. When I write a lot. And I hope that you enjoy reading the blog. If you enjoy reading blogs, I know that I love working on them. So this is all I have for today. If you enjoyed this episode, please like it. Subscribe if you're not subscribed so you don't miss any new episodes. If you think that some of your knitting friends would enjoy watching this podcast or getting to know more about my patterns or the design behind the patterns, please feel free to share. Also, if you would like a discount on this scarf, I have an introductory discount just through my newsletter. So I already sent an email right before I publish this podcast, but I'm going to resend it again this evening to the new subscribers. So I try to pamper my email subscribers quite a bit, and they can tell you that. So I'm going to leave the link on my description where you can subscribe to the newsletter. So you go to the bottom of my website, the homepage of my website, and you can sign up there for the newsletter. And that way you're going to know when a new episode is up, if there is a new pattern that is available for you, anything that might be happening in my creative journey, I can share in there with you. And there are also some like discount codes that I share with my email subscribers. Maybe there is a flash sale one weekend and no surprise things that can happen over there. But usually when I release a pattern, the introductory discount code is shared just through the newsletter. So that's the best way to stay in touch if you want to know a lot about what is happening here in my studio in Connecticut. So thank you again for being here. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I look forward to record a new episode for you next time. I'll see you then. Until then, happy making and happy knitting.